everyone, welcome to the Jayda and Stitches show. We had a request to do a quick tutorial on how to do the invisible single crochet 2 stitches together, or the invisible decrease. I just learned this technique myself and I think it's really fun. So I'm going to demonstrate it in 2 ways. One, working in the round, so folding in something to make it smaller if you're making something like ball shaped or for amigurumi. And 2, working back and forth. So you can see what it looks like on the back of your fabric as you single crochet 2 stitches together. It does differ a little bit from the method you might be familiar with, so let's jump right into it. First, let's look at how it looks when you're working back and forth. I've just crocheted a little sampler here. I'm 9 single crochet stitches across. I'm 2 rows in, well, 3 rows actually, and I'm about to chain 1 and turn, and I'm just going to single crochet regularly to start off my row. And then I'm going to make an invisible single crochet 2 stitches together, or an invisible decrease. You slip your hook in through the first loop, the front loop, not the whole stitch. That's the whole stitch. You want to just get your hook in through the first loop, the front loop, the loop facing you. You're not picking up a loop on your hook. You're just putting your hook through that front loop. You're going to do the same thing in the loop, the front facing loop right next to you. Your hook might want to go through the whole thing, so just take a moment, get your hook under that first loop. So it's the front loops, the loops facing you, of the next 2 stitches. You have not picked up a loop yet using your working yarn. You've just slipped your hook under the 2 front facing loops of the next 2 stitches. Now yarn over and pull back through both of those front loops to pick up a loop on your hook. Now single crochet as normal. Just for a little bit of space, I'm going to single crochet normally into the next stitch. So I'm going to slip my hook right through the whole stitch, single crochet as normal. Let's do another invisible decrease. You can see the 2 stitches that I am going to work together, these 2 right here. I'm going to slip my hook through the front loop of the next stitch, and then I want the front loop of the stitch right next to that one. I find holding the loop that's already on my hook with my thumb helps. I slip my hook under that second stitch's front loop. So that's my hook going through 2 front loops. I now yarn over and pull back through both of those 2 front loops to pull up a loop on my hook. Then I single crochet as normal. I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch, and let's single crochet the last 2 stitches together too. So there's 2 stitches left. The front loops are right here. I'm going to get my hook underneath the first one and then under the second one, and that second one, it's always a little bit slippery. There you go. Front loops only. Yarn over, carefully pull back through both of those front loops to pick up the loop on your hook, and then single crochet as normal. So we have made 3 invisible decreases. That's what that looks like from the front. Let's chain 1 and turn. And if you were working back and forth, this is what it looks like from the back. So that's the other side of your work. Honestly, it's pretty neat and tidy. Your spaces are not too big. Sometimes you get a bit of a pull or an opening where you single crochet a couple stitches together. Let's single crochet into the next stitch. We'll single crochet into the next stitch, and let's do another invisible decrease across the middle, just so we can see what it looks like if you decrease 2 rows in a row. We're going to pick up the front facing loop of the next stitch and pick up the front facing loop of the stitch next to that. Now we yarn over, carefully pull back through both those stitches to pull up a loop on our hook, and single crochet as normal. Let's just finish the row now with a single crochet in each of those remaining 2 stitches. So you can see that we are decreasing. We've got a definite bottom of our work. It's been slowly decreasing. That's what it looks like from the front. And if we turn, that's what it looks like from the back. Pretty neat and tidy. And of course across the top you can still see that your stitches look perfectly normal. So that's the invisible decrease working back and forth. Next, let's try it in a sphere. I've been making a little circular ball shape here. This is very typical work when you're doing amigurumi, little stuffed toys, balls, beads, that sort of thing, even ball poms, like pom-poms. I haven't got too many stitches going here. I started with 6, I increased to 12, and then to 18. I've worked 3 rows of 18 stitches per row, and now it's time to say decrease so I can make a perfect little ball. So my next stitch to begin my 6th or 7th row, I should say, is I'm going to begin with a single crochet 2 stitches together, but I'm going to use the invisible decrease. So here are the next 2 stitches that I am going to be working together. I'm going to pick up a loop, or pick up the front facing loop of the first stitch on my hook, and pick up a front facing loop of the next stitch on my hook. It's a little easier to do working in the round, probably because it's a smaller, tighter space, and so you can have better control over your work. Your work also kind of curves away from you, so that kind of helps to keep control of the stitches over here. I didn't feel I had to put my thumb on that first loop to start with. Now we yarn over, we carefully pull back through those 2 front-facing loops to pull up a loop on our hook, and single crochet as normal. Now in this pattern, I single crochet once into the next stitch, and then it's time for another decrease. Here are the 2 stitches I am single crocheting together. I am going to pick up the front facing loop of stitch number 1 on my hook and pick up the front facing loop of stitch number 2 on my hook. Yarn over, carefully pull back through both those loops. Again, we're in a circle, so they kind of work a little, it works a little easier in this curved crochet. Single crochet is normal, and you can see now we've done 2 decreases and 2 regular single crochet. Let's single crochet normally. And then it's time for another decrease. Those are the 2 stitches I'm decreasing. Pick up front facing loop number 1, pick up front facing loop number 2, yarn over, pull back through those 2 loops, and then we single crochet as normal. Single crochet into the next stitch, another invisible decrease, picking up both the front loops of the next 2 stitches, yarn over to pick up a loop, and single crochet. And from the front, this is what it looks like. Very neat and tidy. It's not bulky, and of course the inside of your work, while it's also very neat and tidy, isn't going to show because this is an amigurumi piece, and so only the outside would be showing. Let's do one more. Pick up the front facing loops of the next 2 stitches, yarn over to pick up a loop on your hook, and single crochet. And that pretty much brings us back to the beginning. And from there I could keep going around and around. It's not gappy, it's not bulky, and it's a nice way to do a decrease. So there we go, 2 ways to use that invisible single crochet 2 stitches together, or the invisible decrease. That's what it looks like working back and forth. If you were going to be using an invisible decrease on fabric where you would see both sides, and here's how it looks if you're working in the round. This is especially good for a little amigurumi, small toys, stuff like that. Nice and neat, no real gapping. I feel that the only sort of trick you need to get used to is just picking up both of those front-facing loops on your hook at the same time. I have to resist the urge to yarn over, and I have to keep my thumb on that first loop just to make it easy to pick up the second loop on my hook. But once you get used to that, it does make a very neat and tidy decrease. I hope that helps. If you had any questions about the invisible decrease, please don't hesitate to leave them down below, and I'll do my best to answer. Until then, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more fun here on the Jayda InStitches channel. Stay safe, stay crafty, and we'll see you soon. Bye guys!
Hi everybody! Mr. InStitches here. Thank you for watching today. Here are some of our other videos you might be interested in. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.